Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Dill, late Sunday night. Mario Cristobal, Carson Beck, the Miami Hurricanes get it done against a very good Notre Dame football team. This is a Notre Dame team that, Dill, I don't think there's many people higher on Notre Dame than yourself. My biggest takeaway here, these are games that historically, over the last couple of years, have not gone Miami's way. Miami dominated, and I mean dominated, the first three quarters of this football game. Kind of got away from them a little bit in the fourth quarter. And I'm sure many Miami fans were sitting there and saying, all right, here we go again. Like another fourth quarter meltdown from the Miami Hurricanes. This is where having a quarterback like Carson Beck, to me, really played a role. Like, yes, has Carson Beck shown us that he can be one of the best quarterbacks in the country? Yeah, absolutely. There's film out there that tells us Carson Beck's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. What people don't talk enough about is the winner that this kid is. He's been in these moments. He's been in these kind of games, and more times than not, Carson Beck figures out a way to win. Was it super pretty at times for Miami, specifically in that fourth quarter? No. But I think if you're a Miami Hurricane fan, it feels good to win a game that you kind of had to go out and take in the last 2 minutes of a football game, especially against the Notre Dame team that was elite at winning these kind of games last year. I thought you got some questions answered, man. Like, hey, what's this Corey Heatherman defense going to look like? Is it going to take immediately in 2025? For the first three quarters, this was exceptional on the defensive side of the football. Yeah, how about, hey, does Carson Beck have enough difference makers on the outside? Dill, Malachi Tony inserted himself as the guy for Miami in the passing attack. And look, I'm not sleeping on CJ Daniels. Like, I saw the catch that he had as well. Keelan Marion thought played some solid football as well. There were a lot of people, including yourself, Dylan, I'll give you the tee box to talk about it in a sec, that had question marks about, hey, can these Miami pass catchers separate against man coverage against the Notre Dame secondary that's got pretty much all NFL dudes? I thought these pass catchers won a lot more than many people expected. And if you can beat this Notre Dame secondary, there ain't many secondaries, if any, that you can't beat going into the rest of 2025. Really fun win. And Dill, this kind of, we talked about it before the game. Like, this feels like one of the biggest games that Mario Cristobal has been in since his time at Miami, if not the biggest. And to get this one done with all the recruits that were on campus in a packed house, this one feels a little bit different for Miami going forward. I want to talk about how dangerous they are, like what we learned from this football team before we get into it. As always, the Miami Hurricane fans, appreciate you guys. And many of y'all have been rocking with the boys for a very long time and have listened to us do instant reactions where Miami did not come out on the right side of these kind of football games. Appreciate you guys through the highs, through the lows. The Miami fans continue to show a ton of love to the boys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Let it fly in the comment section. Would love to get a little vibe check from the Miami Hurricane fans in the comment section. Dill, I'm sorry that was a long intro. Had a lot of stuff I wanted to get off my chest. Let's start with this Corey Heatherman defense that I thought was really, really good, especially for the first three quarters. Overall impressions from this Miami defense in this football game here.
I mean, that defensive line can rip it up in the way they probably need to. And you saw when they had their chances to have those passing situations, they
Yes.
were unblockable. Like, they didn't lose those reps ever to that Notre Dame team, and they iced that game out. And you saw, like, Mesidor and Bain and Lightfoot, they were all kind of winning ultra consistently. And that, to me, is really what kind of carried the day. And I probably should say the same about the inside guys because they were pretty dominant too, and for the most part, stopping the run really until maybe that fourth quarter.
I thought David Blay was freaking awesome in this game. And look, we knew what David Blay was coming from Louisiana Tech. Like, I don't know if he's going to give you a ton of pass rush juice as a pass rusher on the inside. I know this kid's a hammer in the run game. That's exactly what we got from David Blay. There were a lot of Notre Dame fans on Twitter and on the message boards that were really frustrated with, Notre Dame not pushing the ball down the field a little bit more with CJ Carr. Notre Dame could not block up this pass rush. And we talked about this going into the game. Look, I think Notre Dame's tackles are good, but when they went up against some elite caliber edge rushers last year in pass protection, wasn't always great. And we said, hey, Ruben Bay and Akeem Mesidor, they're going to have some opportunity to really rip it up in some obvious pass rushing situations, and they certainly did. You saw it on that 1 minute drill that they were trying to drive down and tie this football game. Notre Dame could not check Miami in the pass rush. And how about what a little shout out to Marquise Lightfoot, man. This is what kind of talked about in fall camp. I don't know if he's going to play a ton on first and second down as a run stopper. This kid coming off the edge in pass rush situations, he lived up to the billing in this football game as well. How about the linebackers? Still pretty solid game. Like holding the not a single Notre Dame running back went for over 50 yards on the day. What does that tell you? We weren't missing many tackles, and we were fitting the run the right way, which was a massive problem for this Miami Hurricanes defense last year. I thought the linebackers and the safeties, like I thought Jacoby Thomas was coming down and fitting the run the right way as well. The run fits we knew needed to be good. They were damn good in this football game for Corey Heatherman, this Miami defense.
And the open field tackling was generically really good. They were getting
Yeah.
receivers to the ground. They were getting the backs to the ground. The only place they maybe struggled a little bit, and it was probably a little just unexpected, was what CJ Carr was doing with his legs. I felt like he was able to
Yeah.
hurt them a couple of times. But like aside from that, there wasn't much Notre Dame could get to with any sort of real consistency in those big moments.
In the first three quarters especially, like there was really nothing. And I'm not gonna talk about the refs too much. The refs kind of kept that Notre Dame drive alive a little bit. Things kind of snowballed from there. Again, my biggest takeaway though is that like Miami grabbed back control of the football game and went down the field and won. Like we've seen a lot of those instances where it gets out of hand really damn quick for Miami. Having a guy like Carson Beck taking the field, going down and leading the game-winning drive, that should make Miami fans really, really happy. And Dill, again, Jacoby Thomas, I thought was really good at the safety position, and that was a little bit of a question. Like, hey, did they fix the problem at the safety spot? I thought they did with a football player like Jacoby Thomas, and I thought you had some good cornerback play on the outside as well. Let's flip over to the offense because I think we probably buried the lead here. Like Carson Beck was sharp, right? 20 of 30, 2 touchdowns, some wet conditions against a really good Notre Dame secondary. That ain't the story. The story ain't Miami holding up in pass, bro, moving some bodies in the run game. We kind of expected all of those things heading in. Our biggest question mark, these pass catchers. This is why you picked Notre Dame. Like you did not see a pathway for Miami moving the football consistently because you did not have, and I'm not trying to put you on blast, but you didn't have a lot of confidence in these Miami pass catchers. I'm going to give you the tee box to address what you saw from the Miami pass catchers in this football game here.
I mean, the big thing was Malachi Tony. I mean, you needed a lot from a 17-year-old to be the
He's
team
that
that I
guy.
think Miami wants to be, and he frankly delivered. I mean, a couple like that whip route he ran on that third down, big time
Multiple
route,
of
that
them.
ability to track that ball down the field and come up with that in front of the cornerback and score that touchdown. Huge play. Like he was making those gamer plays. He was able to win in those man coverage situations in big spots. That to me was the difference in the game is they had that guy. We just hadn't known it yet because he's a true freshman.
This kid, and I think all Miami fans were in the same spot. It's like, all right, we're hearing all the buzz. This kid's been generating buzz since he stepped foot on campus back in the winter. You heard it all through the spring. You heard it all through fall camp. You were wondering how legit was it going into this game. Look, you got your answer pretty dang clearly. The composure for this kid is so legit for a 17-year-old. The route running ability, Dill, he is that Xavier Restrepo presence for this Miami Hurricane pass
Yeah, but
catcher.
with just a little
With
bit more athletic juice,
juice.
probably. I mean, that's probably what you have. You have a guy who's really good at running routes. He knows how to get himself open, but he also has another gear that Restrepo didn't really have.
I think that's fair to say, and I know that's a lot, Mal. I mean, still 6 catches for 82 yards against the Notre Dame secondary is probably the best secondary in the country. Like I know I might be overreacting a little bit. That's what I saw. That's what I saw on the football field. Miami fans should be, if we're talking about Malachi Tony being one of the most productive Miami Hurricane pass catchers program history, wouldn't be all that surprised in the next 3 years. Wasn't only Malachi Tony though. Thought you saw some good things from Keelan Marion, and you certainly saw some good things from CJ Daniels as well. I thought the tight end play was going to be a little bit more of a factor in the pass catching department. And it's not a shot at Elijah Lofton. It's not a shot at Alex Bowman. They just didn't need to rely on the tight ends because our wide receivers could go out and create some separation when they needed to. If I had one criticism It was probably maybe parking the bus a little bit in the fourth
Oh,
quarter.
yeah. The
Like,
fact that they kinda shut the offense down a little bit and
yeah,
just went to the run, 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 I don't really see the reason for that. There was probably too much time on it.
and I
Again, like, your defense is playing well, so I get it from that standpoint, but that's just, like, a dangerous game to play with, like, 12 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
and especially when you have Carson Beck at quarterback, like he gave you no reason not to trust him. He didn't really put. I mean, he put the ball in harm's way one time, and that was to C.J. Daniels. C.J. Daniels bailed him out, and that was a hell of a throw by Carson Beck
That's a good
too.
throw.
It was just a risky throw, and he made it just the way he needed to make it. Outside of that, like what you want to see a little bit more killer instinct. But outside of
Because
that,
his
again,
you're right, his composure is really good. That's probably what really stood out. He was getting to his checkdowns when he needed to. He didn't, like, take those negative plays and those
yeah,
sacks that you kinda, like, were hoping he would be able to avoid against a Notre Dame team that,
yep,
again, kinda struggled to just consistently slow Miami down in the way I thought
yeah,
they were gonna be able to.
yeah.
Like, Miami could get to stuff on offense, so I'm kinda with you. I thought, like, put the ball in his hands, let him go rip it up because he didn't give you any reason to kinda doubt him at that.
Didn't give you a single reason to doubt him. That's probably my takeaway too. And Dale, the run game, I don't think the box score is going to reflect it. I thought they were moving bodies in the run game, man. I thought they were imposing their will a little bit. I thought Markel Bell was exceptional. The pass protection was really
Right.
dang good as well. And when you give Carson Beck time to go through his process, he's going to make the right decision. He's going to be accurate and on time with the football. That's just the story of Carson Beck. There's a ton of film from 2023 that tells me that. That's what fired me up the most about Carson Beck coming to Miami. It's like it's a perfect situation. He's got a run game to lean on. Didn't get to as much play action as I thought Miami might have. We'll see how that develops over the next couple of weeks. There is a lot to like, and we probably left out some players that deserve to be mentioned. 3 quarters of complete football. You want to see better closing the game out, but that was 3 quarters of what I thought was like they were clearly the better team in this football game. We'll close it out there. Not a shot at Notre Dame, by the way. I think Notre Dame is going to be a playoff team. I think they're going to be a very good football team. Miami kind of showed you that they're a legit threat in the 2025 year. We'll close it out there. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.